Right now at noon, a dangerous situation is underway for millions of Americans before the holiday weekend.
And we still have wind chill warnings for a number of us through this afternoon and into this evening. We'll talk about the dangerous cold and a warm-up coming up.
And retailers roll out new policies that could make returning those holiday gifts more expensive.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Police arrest 2 people who they say robbed a Pittsburgh convenience store overnight. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, an overnight armed robbery and arrest at the Snack Attack on 4th Street. It happened shortly after 4:30 this morning. Officers on patrol noticed a man run down the alley near the gas station and jump into a car. At the same time, dispatch received a call that the Snack Attack had just been robbed. Officers chased the car and watched as the man, who was later identified as 29-year-old Benjamin Lewis from Pittsburgh, ran from the car and attempted to hide under a house on the 1000 block of East 5th Street. Both Lewis and the woman driving the car were taken into custody and are currently held at the Crawford County Jail. Law enforcement booked Lewis on charges for aggravated armed robbery, possession of drugs and drug paraphernalia, obstruction, and he also had a warrant for previous aggravated robbery charges. More than 200 million people are under a winter weather advisory as a historic winter storm rages across much of the country. Along with the snow, it's also bitterly cold, with some states projected to experience temperatures as low as -50 degrees Fahrenheit. In Kansas City, 1 person died after their minivan plunged into an icy creek. When rescue crews arrived, they found the vehicle turned over in the water. It was one of at least 5 deaths due to the winter storm. Well, 24 hours ago, road conditions were definitely subpar across the 4 states, and we sent KOAM Shannon Becker out for a drive to find out where we stand now.
Let's take a look at roads around the area. Well, the good news is sunshine. The precipitation is ended, but we're still seeing these patches of snow even on some of the major roads, maybe in the turning lanes or on the edge of the road. Traveling west on 7th Street, the highways seem to be pretty clear. However, if you take any side road, like here, Empire Avenue, packed with snow, and underneath that snow is a sheet of ice. That's not melting off anytime soon. So use caution on all side streets. On the interstates, it seems like business as usual. The Carthage exit at the Fidelity Cloverleaf. Traffic is moving. Also, onto South Main Street, I-44 is clear. If you're out and about today, use caution on the roadways. But as authorities say, if you don't have to get out, stay home. In Joplin, I'm Shannon Becker for KOAM News Now.
All right, thanks, Shannon. And we are still facing bitter cold temperatures today. Chris Warner joins us with the first look.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, as we went on the air, we had some changes to this map. So for Missouri and parts of southeast Kansas, we're talking Bourbon, Cherokee, Crawford counties, wind chill warnings through 6 this evening. For the rest of southeast Kansas, wind chill warnings through 1 this afternoon, and the wind chill warning has been replaced in northeast Oklahoma by a wind chill advisory that runs until 10 o'clock Saturday morning. So that just changed as we went on the air at noon. All right, MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line, as Shannon mentioned, we're looking pretty good on the interstate. We're looking clear. Traffic seems to be flowing. Still looks like there might be a few patches here and there, so do watch out for those. Today, our normal high is 46. We are nowhere near that. We are not going to be anywhere near that for a few days. Our normal low, 27. Also nowhere near that, nor are we going to be anytime soon. It is going to stay cold, and for the rest of today and into tonight, it'll be dangerously cold. We've got 8 in Iola, 7 in Fort Scott, 6 in Pittsburgh, 7 in Miami, 4 in Joplin, and 5 in Neosho, so at least we're above 0 now. However, you factor in the breeze, and we're sitting at 13 below is what it feels like in Iola, 7 below in Pittsburgh, 17 below in Webb City, so still dangerously cold. Heading for a high today of 11 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and we will continue to see those windy conditions through the afternoon. However, there's a warm-up on the way, And it's a pretty significant change in the forecast. We'll break that all down here in a few minutes. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. The massive storm is creating problems on the second busiest travel day around Christmas and New Year's. Thousands of flights in the U.S. have been canceled and hundreds of others delayed. Chris Van Cleve reports from Dulles Airport in Northern Virginia.
From California to New York, the Friday before Christmas starts with thousands of flights already canceled and millions trying to get home, including Alicia Mitchell.
We were supposed to leave at 2:40 and our flight was pushed back to 8:04, and now our flight has been delayed for an hour.
Welcome to United. Have all boarding passes out.
The storm brought busy Chicago O'Hare to a virtual halt because of wind, snow, and ice. More than 560 flights were canceled there Thursday.
I mean, we're hopeful, but in the back of both of our minds, we're like, I don't know if we're going to make it out tonight.
The massive bomb cyclone is causing travel chaos nationwide as it whips across the Midwest into the Northeast. With frustrated travelers in Denver,
I think our plans are ruined.
As whiteout conditions surrounded the airport, dumping nearly half a foot of snow on the runways. And in Los Angeles, even though the sun is shining, travelers are still stuck at the airport, feeling the storm's effect from thousands of miles away.
We'll see how it goes. We were supposed to fly into Houston.
Jessica Fanning and her boyfriend are visiting the States from Australia. They missed their connection to Houston and are now heading straight into an Arctic blast.
We're flying at midnight from here to Chicago, and then we have a 1 hour layover, and then we'll land in New Orleans tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Dulles Airport.
Good luck to all the travelers. Well, even after the snow and rain stop, the extreme cold slows down airport operations. So experts say to expect cancellations and delays to stretch into the weekend. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, considering a holiday return, why this year you may need to read the fine print first. And later, we're making a jolly French toast bake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, the gift-giving season is here, soon to be followed by the season of gift returns. And this year, you need to read the fine print. According to a recent survey, 6 in 10 retailers have changed their return policies, and that includes online returns. As Nancy Chen reports, it could change not only how we return, but how we buy.
With the holiday shopping season underway, 'tis the season also for surprises, including a crackdown on online returns. The cost to return an item by mail at Zara, now $3.95. For J. Crew, it's $7.50. And for Dillard's, that return shipping cost will set you back almost $10. They're all part of a growing list of retailers charging return fees, typically in the range of $3 to $10 to send back purchases.
I hate it as someone who likes to shop and return things often because sometimes you do have to try things on, return them.
Mefesh Wasi shops almost entirely online and was recently hit with return fees after ordering multiple pairs of pants.
I haven't been able to find a pair of pants that actually fits me. I needed to try on a lot of things, and for certain stores I did have to eat that $5 cost.
A fee some experts say shoppers should get used to, with labor and shipping costs up and retailers dealing with excess inventory this year, and all those returns add up. According to the National Retail Federation, $102 billion worth of online orders were returned in 2020. That number more than doubled to $218 billion last year.
About 40% of our merchants are charging for refunds, and that's up. It's nearly doubled in the last 12 months.
Jonathan Poma is the CEO of Loop, a company helping more than 1,500 retailers save on return costs.
This is actually a big problem for retailers.
When you start to stack these costs, free shipping on the outbound order, free shipping on the return, maybe a customer acquisition cost of $50, and you're out almost twice the cost of the return.
And Poma says less than half of items returned can be immediately resold, if at all.
For some merchants, it can be the difference between existing in 12 months and no longer being in business.
And with as many as 50,000 brick and mortar stores projected to close over the next 5 years, the trend towards return fees isn't going away anytime soon.
I think return fees just help us see a little bit behind that curtain by making us pause and think about our purchasing decisions and whether we are being wasteful or not.
Turning a page in how we buy and return.
Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
All right, still to come on the KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
Right now, there's plenty of details to think about without worrying about what to serve Christmas morning. No worries, because we've got that covered for you.
But first, we're still got some dangerously cold wind chills to get through, but we're also tracking a warm-up next week. We'll break it all down coming up. All right, we're still dealing with some bitterly cold temperatures out there and dangerously cold wind chills, but there are changes on the horizon. But let's first focus on what we've got going on today. Just at the top of the noon hour, the wind chill warning was dropped out of northeast Oklahoma and replaced by a wind chill advisory that runs until tomorrow at 10 a.m. Now for southeast Kansas over in this area, it's a wind chill warning still until 1 today. And then for Bourbon, Crawford, Cherokee counties in Kansas, and all of southwest Missouri, that is not accurate. That should say wind chill warning, not winter storm warning, but it runs until today at 6 o'clock. I-44 and Rangeline, the MoDOT camera there, you can see the roads are much clearer than they had been, especially on the interstate. But as Shannon alluded to earlier, some city streets, especially side streets, still some snow out there, so you need to take it careful and just be safe. There's no need to rush where you're going. Here's what we saw in terms of snow. Across the region, roughly 1 to 5 inches. Not everybody got a ton of snow, but everybody got a little snow. And that's, hey, I know some of us kind of like it that way. We got a little something. But yesterday, we also saw a series of snow squall warnings. Now, if you go up north or points out west, say Wyoming, the Dakotas, Nebraska, those are common. But here, it's not a term you see very often. So what exactly is a snow squall? Well, it's a sudden onset of intense bursts of snow and wind that end up resulting in near whiteout conditions or complete whiteout conditions. That results in rapidly deteriorating road conditions, and they usually have a short duration of less than 2 hours. And that is exactly what we saw yesterday. And they can make traveling life-threatening in some cases when you go from being able to see to suddenly nothing, plus a 50-mile-an-hour crosswind. Thankfully, precipitation's gone. Sun is shining. 4 degrees in Joplin. Feels like 17 below. That's that dangerous side. The west-northwest wind at 20, still gusting upwards of 29 miles an hour. And that wind will not really ease up until later this evening and into tonight. We got 6 in Pittsburgh, 9 in Chanute and Neodesha, up to 10 in Sedan, 7 in Miami. We got 4 in Carthage. You factor in that wind, and it is, again, dangerously cold. 18 below is what it feels like in Carthage, 14 below in Fort Scott, 13 Iola, 10 Parsons and Chautauqua, as well as Commerce. So still very cold outside. Layer up if you do have to be outdoors. Today, we're going to make it up to 11. But that certainly beats how cold it got yesterday, and it certainly beats how cold it's going to get tonight. And there's more warm weather on the way. Partly cloudy skies, still breezy. We head into tonight, and we're going to drop down to 1, but it's above freezing. That's a positive, I suppose. Let's look at the positives. It's Friday. Partly cloudy skies as we head into tonight. As we look at the future track, there's not a lot of major changes over the weekend, so let's just skip that as we're running out of time. We're up to 20 for Christmas Eve, 25 Christmas Day. We're looking at partly cloudy skies, possibly a wintry mix on Monday, 32, up to 44 by Wednesday, 53 by Tuesday, 53 by Wednesday, maybe some showers. And then take a look at Thursday, up to 62 degrees. And we're looking at a chance of thunderstorms. We are going to experience no fewer than 2 seasons in the next 7 days across the area, going from the extremes in the cold to well above average. Because you saw earlier, our average high right about now should be roughly around the mid-40s. And we're going to reach that by next Tuesday, and then after that, we get really warm.
Yeah, it's crazy how much it changes, but welcome to the 4 states. In the meantime, we've got to survive this cold weather.
Yeah, we've got to get through this, and again, it is dangerously cold weather, so try and avoid being outdoors if you can, and if you are, layer up and limit your time outdoors.
That's right. All right, thanks, Chris. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Specialist William Redden in the U.S. Army. The Joplin native joined the 413th Squadron, serving on the artillery front line in Iraq from 1990 to 1991. He later served with the Missouri National Guard for 17 years. Was active duty Army for 5. To William Redden, we thank you, our four-state hero. Come Christmas morning, you're going to want to spend time with your family, not in the kitchen. Howard has the perfect recipe for you. We're making a jolly French toast bake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Come Christmas morning, there are enough people and things that need your time and attention. Never mind worrying about what everybody wants for breakfast. So today, we're sharing an easy throw-together French toast bake that everyone will love, including you, because it will let you focus on what really matters: your family and the presents that Santa left for you. We begin by mixing together some eggs, half and half, a bit of sugar, a touch of cinnamon, some nutmeg, and a pinch of salt. We slowly pour this over a French bread that we cut into thick slices and let it sit in the fridge for about a half hour, or even overnight. When all the liquid's absorbed, we pop it in the oven until it's golden brown and it gets all puffy. Then sprinkle it with powdered sugar, drizzle on some warm maple syrup, and get ready for some good eating. So here's my gift to you. The recipe for our super easy Jolly French Toast Bake is online now, so you can cross Christmas morning breakfast off your to-do list. I'm Howard with our hungry little elf Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a jolly good way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, Howard and Kelly. You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our four-state market prices.
All right, here's our 7-day forecast. 20 for Christmas Eve, 25 Christmas Day, 32 on Monday, maybe a wintry mix. Check it out, up to 62 by Thursday. It doesn't stop there, though. 60 Friday, maybe some thunderstorms. We're keeping an eye on for you. Showers, unfortunately, into the New Year's Eve weekend. We're not talking a ton of rain, but milder as we'll be bringing in the new year in the 50s.
So if you got frozen pipes this weekend, we got time to thaw next week. That's good.
We'll get to thaw out next week.
All right, well, coming up tonight at 5, it's the most wonderful time of the year for thieves to target your identity. And the most popular text scams last year included delivery scams. We're going to show you what to look out for. Plus, a toddler in Ohio will be home for the holidays after spending most of his life in the hospital and in rehabilitation. His story coming up in Health Watch. And freezing temps lead to frozen pipes. Find out the best way to de-thaw your situation without causing further damage. Join us for those stories and much more tonight on the KOAM News at 5.
A lot of stuff to watch out for tonight. A lot of good stories.
All right, well, thanks for joining us for the KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock. Merry Christmas.